Hey, what's up, everybody? So, some big news came out about the Beatles movies, and yes, movies, more than one, that's going to be coming out in 2028. Now, why are they announcing this news 3 years in advance? Well, I'll get to that. First of all, we have the cast. You have, and let me make sure I have all of this right, so I got my notes next to me. So we have Paul Mescal as Paul McCartney, and that was rumored even a couple months ago. Harry Dickinson as John Lennon, Joseph Quinn as George Harrison, and Barry Keoghan as Ringo Starr. Now, all movies are going to be directed by Sir Sam Mendes, who in the past has directed American Beauty, Revolutionary Road, Skyfall, Spectre, 1917. So he is incredibly competent. I think he's one of the best out there. He just doesn't work as much as maybe some other directors do. So his work kind of gets, lost in the shuffle of things. But he's one of the best out there right now. Now, the thing that is really, really interesting, and this kind of whole goes to one of the things that I really enjoy, which is a huge, big Grand Slam swing. And this is something that I didn't even think was possible. And it's one of those great ideas that you never think of, but then when you hear about it, you're like, wow, that's cool. Why hasn't it been done before? So at a convention that's going on this week called CinemaCon, which is basically like, Comic-Con, but for movies, the director of the studio that's putting this all together, let me get his name right, Mr. Tom Rothman, I believe he is. Yeah, the Sony film boss. He came out and he said that this is going to be, and I quote, the first bingeable theatrical experience, which means that it's going to be all four movies comes out on the same day. And then you watch the first one at 1 o'clock, you watch the second one at 4 o'clock, the third one at 7 o'clock, the last one at 9:30, 10. So you're basically going to spend your day at the movie theater. And look, I don't know if this is going to work. I know Sam Mendes as a director and he makes quality movies. But another thing, and I forgot to mention this, from everything that I've read, it's 4 movies with 4 different writers, and it's told from their different perspective, which I think is really, really interesting. So the tone of it might be different because Ringo saw things differently than Paul saw things, than John, than George. So I thought that was really cool. And I remember even when, the Marvel Cinematic Universe came out, and it was like a 22 episode series, basically. And nobody had ever done anything like that before. So that was really interesting and cool. But the idea of a bingeable thing where it's like 4 movies, one day, go. And then it's like, which one are you going to see first? Is John's version going to be watched more than Paul, more than George, more than Ringo? Will it end up being that Ringo's version is probably more interesting than the others? Because, Ringo kind of is like the butt of so many Beatles jokes, but maybe in the end, his contribution to the band was way more significant than we ever thought of. And his movie ends up becoming even more interesting. So even though, look, personally, I'm not a huge Beatles fan, I'm a fan of their impact and their significance in pop culture and in music. But I don't pop in Sgt. Pepper's or Revolver or any of those albums and jam to them, but I appreciate, their contributions. And I like Sam Mendes, I've liked every movie that he's done, I've enjoyed. So I'm really curious to see his take on all 4 perspectives. And just from a cultural event standpoint, which I think is what is going to be created by this, how it all going to go down. If you think about it, and if you do a little bit of research, you'll see like one of the big cultural events that was a huge swing in movie history was The Godfather, because it was the first movie that was played on thousands of screens at once. At first they always kind of like chose a handful and then built up and built up depending on its popularity. But this one was just like, boom, thousands of screens, go and then see what happens. So it became this thing of like, why are all these movie theaters showing this movie in this way? Because it's never been done before. So people went to go flock about it and flock to the movie theaters and watch it and see what's what. And so I think that's kind of what might happen with this one as well. You know, people are gonna, even Beatles fans are gonna be in line, staying in the movie theaters all day, watching all 4 movies, talking about them, making content about them, posting it on social media, and then hopefully that'll create the buzz that, you know, I'm sure movie theater owners will greatly appreciate. Anyways, what about you guys? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Smash that like button, give me a follow, and I'll see you guys next time.